welcome. We are here to chat today with with cover designer Tara Cavosie, a member of my team. We also have Bob Zaslow, who's going to share a little bit about his story, his books, and the process that we've been going through. I'm going to ask Tara to just introduce herself a little bit here, and then we can move on.
Hi, I'm Tara Cavosie. I am a 25-year veteran of consumer products design. And over COVID, I decided to finally work on my children's book that I was hoping and praying to do for a very long time and just never had the time to do it. And like everybody, COVID shut down everybody's lives and I had the time to do it. And luckily, I came across April, who was like a godsend. And she held my hand through the entire process. And I wound up publishing the most adorable children's book about a little girl with curly hair inspired by my daughter. And it was just such an incredible experience. And April, anyone who works with her knows how incredible she is and how much she cares about her authors and wants them to do so well. And I just felt that. And she was part of the reason that I fell in love with children's books. And in particular, I fell in love with the cover design process. And I just felt so drawn to it. And while I didn't have a lot of experience in children's books, I do have a lot of experience in art directing projects and product launches and things like that, and just fell into this world. And I consider myself a mocker-upper. I am not a formatter. But what I love to do is take the artwork that authors think about wanting to have on their covers, and I lay it out in a way that almost like cover design conceptualization, and put it all together in this perfect way where the formatters, who sometimes really don't want to do the covers, or because they're very time consuming, do the cover. So I take that kind of heavy lifting off their plate, lay out a great design, and then they can just format it, and the whole process moves very smoothly. So I'm just like one component of that process, and I love it. And I want people to have just beautiful children's book covers, because in the world of children's books, you do judge a book by its cover. And the more beautiful the cover, the more people are engaged, and the more you can hook them, and the more they want to buy your book. So I love being a part of that process.
So glad to have you. And when I started talking to Bob about coming and talking about his books and the process, I know that we're going to touch on his cover updates. And so that's why I invited you, because I think not only can it be helpful with Bob's story, but also for others who are looking for some assistance. Bob, how about you? Let's start with introductions. How many books do you have? How did you get into writing?
Okay, sure. Bob Zaslow. Born in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in the New York area, and was a teacher there. And I was a professional advertising copywriter and associate creative director in various agencies. But I switched, and when it became clear that I was getting too old to be hip as an advertising copywriter, I went back to teaching and became an art teacher mostly, but also taught English and other subjects, but taught in the Bronx, and used stories to teach my children, my students, and that's where I got the bug to become a writer, and to use my ability to stand in front of a class and teach, with stories. That was the best method. And so when I retired from teaching, I moved out here we live on a lake.
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm jealous. Whoops, you're muted, Bob. Got to unmute you. Hey, Bob, can you hear me? You got to unmute yourself. I think you accidentally hit the mute button.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, typical. We love it here, and I sit right by this big picture window and look out. That's where I do all my writing, and it's exciting. And I just want to say before I go on about my books, I want to talk about Tara, who just spoke. She took 5 of my covers that weren't particular. They were really, I'm told they were good books, and I got good reviews, but nobody in big numbers was buying them, and she turned the little postage stamp views of my covers. She made the titles pop, and just did these magical things with the design, and I'm so happy. She's wonderful. Thank you. It's so nice to have you on the panel.
Thank you, Bob. That's so sweet. Thank you.
It's all true. You know, I don't think I'd say it if it wasn't true. You're really good. I wrote her an email yesterday, and I thanked her. I said I was so grateful that April got us together.
Yes, I am too.
Yeah,
it's been wonderful.
One of the things I love about your books, Bob, is, and I've told you this before, is the stories and the way that you go through your storytelling. It's so profound. And I think about the mayfly and the Methuselah tree, and I
I just happen to have it right here.
So there's the original cover that, and I can always share the updated cover.
Oh, share the updated cover, because Tara.
Yeah. Can I share my screen?
I think you can share your screen. Cover. Give it a try, Tara.
Do I just click on present here?
Yes.
So I'm going to. Can you see my screen? Oh, share screen. There it is.
I can't.
So.
I don't think it's showing up. I'm wondering.
Can you see?
Give you any special permissions or anything? Huh. I can certainly share the. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, so I'm going to add it. There you go.
Oh, nice. Yeah, look at the difference.
Yeah. So here is on the left, the original cover. And listen, this artwork is just beautiful. It's so unique and it's so beautiful, but I felt like it wasn't prominent enough. Like I wanted it to be bigger. I wanted the mayfly to be up a little bit higher. We wanted to show Bob's book awards on the cover. And all of the sudden, this tree is just popping. This tree, this Methuselah tree, is just big and bold and front and center, which it should be, because it's the star of the book. And it's just sweet and looks like it could be right there with the best of them in Barnes and Nobles.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
On the shelf.
And the story deserves to be there. It's such an amazing story.
It's an award-winning story.
And now it looks exactly like it belongs with all of those other.
And we've just given reverence to this beautiful artwork. And now the artwork is just, even though the text is bigger, it's like the artwork is more prominent too.
Yeah, how did you pull off that magic trick?
A lot of it is the font choice, isn't it, Tara?
A lot of it is the font choice and the layout of the text and the placement of the text. And I also just want it to be fun. These are books for kids, right? So I want it to be fun. I want it to grab them. And I think we really achieved that with the Mayfly and the Methuselah tree.
And no matter how wonderful your story is, if the cover is not going to attract people, then you're going to get lost on Amazon. It's so easy for people to see a cover that's it's okay. It's beautiful artwork, but if it looks at all like it's been homemade or not professionally designed,
right,
especially with the influx of stories that are coming between AI artwork and people do DIY. I'm going to write and publish a book in a weekend kind of things. They're
Right.
inundating Amazon. So it's very easy for people to see or to just discount something if the cover is not uh, bringing them into the story.
It's so true. And just like you said, if the cover looks homemade or somebody did it themselves, people will just keep scrolling. They won't even stop, right? Because they just assume if the outside looks homemade, the inside content is going to be homemade also and not done professionally. So that's why it's so important to have your cover look like it came from a big publisher. And why not?
Exactly.
You know?
That's what we want. And that's what Bob's amazing story deserves. By the way, if you have not checked out the Mayfly and the Methuselah tree, there is no doubt in my mind why this book, this story has gotten these accolades and awards. It is amazing. And we'll have
Right.
Bob talk a little bit more about that in a little while, but you've got to check it out on Amazon. This is something that I think every child should have in their library. And it's something that teachers can use to talk about and profound topics in a way that give you the adult an opportunity to talk about deep things with your child, which I really love.
Yeah, me too. So
Oh,
here's
you're so nice. Oh, I was going to just talk about the theme of the Mayfly and the Methuselah.
sure, go
Yeah,
ahead.
please do. Please do.
If
Tell
that's
us
okay.
more.
And we can move on to others, but because Tara did such a wonderful job on every cover, but this is a basic story for your viewers. I was watching a National Geographic show on the Methuselah tree. It's called the world's oldest tree. It's about 4,800 years old. And I turned off the program and I thought, what a good story it might be to have opposites meet. The Methuselah tree is one of the world's oldest living organisms. What if it met the mayfly, which lives for one day? What would happen? And the mayfly would represent the child. It's literally born yesterday, and so I came up with this story of the grouchy old mayfly and the grouchy old Methuselah tree, and everything is the same old I'm bored kind of thing. And then the mayfly comes flitting in. Everything is brand new. Wide open eyes, and everything is brand new and exciting. And the Methuselah tree, oh my God, what? Don't you know that you're going to die tomorrow eventually? And the mayfly says, what's tomorrow mean? But by the end of the book, the enthusiasm, the exuberance of the mayfly gets to the Methuselah tree, and there is a happy ending. I even I liked it so much, and after it won the award from back in 2022, I turned it into an animated film.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which is actually, it's available. I don't know how we can get there is a URL that you can use, or it's on YouTube. You can type in, oh, that's right. You can just type in Mayfly and the Methuselah tree, Bob Zaslow, and it'll come up. You can view it.
Yeah, I'll post it onto the link for this in this video as well.
I'm really proud of it. It's
oh, I can't wait to see it, Bob.
One of my favorite books. I forgot to tell you about that. So yeah, go watch the animation. It was well done. Okay, we can go on to the next one. Thank you.
So let's go to the next one. So this is Bob's beautiful book, Joy's Compass. And this first cover is beautiful, right? The artwork is incredible and this beautiful butterfly. But I felt like it didn't really convey what the book was really about. And it's about this little girl going on this journey and using this compass. And this image really conveys that. And I just wanted to put like a fun, modern font with movement. And it really, I think, changes this whole look and feel of this book in the best way possible.
Yeah, it expresses her, that particular illustration expresses her joy at the end of the book.
Yes.
That joy is just to back up a little bit, it's not joyful at the beginning.
Yes.
She wants this and wants that and is rather demanding and isn't really satisfied wherever she is. But this peddler comes to town and as a gift gives her this compass, gives her parents buy some things, but he gives Joy this compass and it has her name on the back. And she follows it into the woods on her way to a destination. And instead of going to the destination, the compass leads her off the beaten path where she meets these other animals. And what she learns about is that the joy comes from helping others. 3 different times she helps other beings, other creatures, and she feels a little ting of joy that, oh, what is that? Ooh. And by the third time, she starts to get the idea. And this picture is near the end of the book where she looks up and she really feels joyful. And she
Yes.
realizes the secret is not to seek joy for yourself, but to help others be happy. So it's a very simple message, but one that children respond to. And I gotten some nice emails from parents about the lesson and how much they like their child to like reading it to their child. They like hearing the words themselves. Adults do. So,
But
Yeah.
without even knowing the content of the book, you can tell that this image evokes a sense of joy. So you get a sense of what the book is about just by looking at this image and seeing the title and the compass there. And that's really what you want to do. You almost want people to understand what the whole book is without having to explain it to them, just in the imagery and the title. And I think we've accomplished that with the new redesign as opposed to the first book. While it was so beautiful with that butterfly, it really just didn't tell the story, but this does much more.
yeah, you're right. And I learned a lot working with you. Right? I learned what was not working. I didn't know. I was just a newbie children's book author 2.5 years ago, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
But thank you, Tara.
You're welcome. So let's go to the next one. So this is the shy little rosebud. And that little shy purple rosebud in the middle is the star. And I just love this very classic, beautiful artwork. And I wanted the title to be beautiful and classic and timeless, but still pop. And I think we accomplished that. We put this beautiful border on there. And I just think that now this shy little rosebud is front and center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And here it's evident that people will see the postage size stamp picture on Amazon and read it a lot better than they do it now. And the headline or the title isn't up on top.
Right.
There's much to like about it. This book, The Shy Little Rosebud, is really a metaphor for any child who is shy because, for whatever reason, it could be a different race or religion, or it could be they're for whatever reason they feel shy. I think many children can relate to this little purple rosebud
Mm-hmm.
in a field of yellow and red and pink and white rosebuds, and she feels really self-conscious about it. In fact, so self-conscious and so afraid to bloom that she stays all curled up, even as the weather becomes cooler and all the other roses have blossomed. So she has to ask herself this question: is it more painful to remain curled up like this, or to unfurl and just risk whatever happens? And ultimately, she does blossom, and she's very well loved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now the artwork is bigger, because in the first cover, the artwork was like shrunken down a bit, like in that border, and it was just small. And a lot of the the background color. It just wasn't necessary. And I just wanted to enlarge the size of that beautiful art so people could see it and just put a title on there that people would see in a thumbnail on Amazon, but still give it that classic, clean, modern, beautiful look and feel to it.
You did it.
Exactly.
Well, thank you.
And I love that the lessons in Bob's book are there. When you talked about the way that you introduced the story, Bob, I could have a conversation with my child and dig deeper based on the age of the child and how I want to help dig into that lesson with them and how it applies to them, which I really like. And I think teachers will love using these books also. But they don't beat kids over the head with a lesson. You allow the adults to help work through that, or the child to work through it, and how it applies to them personally, which I really do enjoy.
And they're timeless lessons.
Yeah.
Which we love.
Thank you. And I want to respond to one thing about beating the kids over the head with a lesson. I learned that with my very first book, which was called The Most Beautiful Snowflake. And at the end, I tied it all up into a nice lesson. And when I showed it to two agents who were really well respected, they said, "We love your story and the writing, but you've hit it on the nose. It's way too over the top and preachy. So avoid that." And so I always remember that, and I try to just point to a lesson or a learning without, and focus instead on the story and the characters and the change.
Yeah.
Denise says, "Bob, you have beautiful stories to tell. I look forward to purchasing."
Thank you, Denise.
That's so great.
Appreciate
All right, let's go on to the next. So this is OIG. I have to say, I love this book, Bob. This one is so good. I love all of them, but this is so fun. So The Day Red Almost Ruined the Rainbow. But in the first cover, you almost didn't get really what it was about, like what we were talking about earlier. Like, this illustration on the original cover is so beautiful, but right away you're not getting what the book is about. But these two cars hitting into each other because the red light isn't working, you just know immediately what it's about.
Yeah, this is such a great job here, Tara, and you schooled me on covers. Let me tell you, I'll never think of covers the same way. You really taught me a great deal. I'm so in awe of your talent.
One thing that's important as you look at the before, and they say this all the time when it comes to covers: if you confuse, you lose. Because if people don't quite know what it is, they're not going to spend their time trying to figure it out. They're just going to move on to another book.
They're just going to move on. It's so true. And you can't get a better illustration. So one of the things I do is I ask the authors, send me your cover, what you think you want on it, and then let me see the other illustrations. And sometimes you just need another fresh set of eyes to take a look at your book and see, because I look at it from a consumer standpoint, right? I'm a consumer products designer in my other career. And I look at everything from how are people going to understand this product? And I take that same approach with the covers, right? How are people going to understand this book? And from a consumer standpoint, I want to look at the other illustrations in the book, because I might, as a consumer, think something different than the author thinks. And sometimes the author is, you're emotionally connected. These are your babies. You're creating these things for the world. But sometimes you need the image that's going to sell the book rather than the image you love the most.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm right up against it. I can't be objective, or it's hard to be objective. Now, in retrospect, I see what you've done here is so far superior. And it goes back to what you said earlier. It really tells the story of the book in one great illustration. It's just for the audience. It's just one day the rainbows woke up and red wasn't in his bed. He wasn't next to orange and yellow. and or green or blue or indigo or violet. He was just gone. And so what happened was everything that was red in the world was just gray. Who would want to eat a gray watermelon, right?
Mhm.
Or the guards at Buckminster Palace, they were in gray uniforms. They were very upset. But this was such a great idea. It was only green and gray lights, no red.
Mhm.
So that that's what happened, and eventually the colors managed to find red on. No, I won't give it away. They
Mhm. It's so true. It's so great too. And also the font choice that I used. This is a line, this is a book. The illustrations are done in line art. So I wanted to follow that theme with the font too and pick a line art looking font. And it all just comes together so perfectly. I love it. This is obviously, Bob, this is one of my favorites.
I'm so glad you like it.
Nice.
All right, let's go to the next one. Obviously, again, this cover is so great. The artwork is beautiful, but the title just didn't pop. And I wanted it to be fun. And I wanted to make the boy bigger and the cat bigger. And I love the tail kind of hanging over. That was in the original, but we just needed to make it bigger, more prominent, more fun. Just something that, because I really liked kind of the layout with the boy, but we just needed that title to pop so that people could see it in a small thumbnail on Amazon. But I still wanted that title to look like it fit. I didn't want something cartoony or something too balloonish or cartoony. But this is perfect. It fits. It looks great. It pops. Mission accomplished.
So tell us about Muffin Can't Hear Nothing, Bob.
I want to read you the first couple of pages because this is based on me meeting my cat who's in the house right now. Her name is Smokey, and I guess it was in November, and she was curled up in a ball and all wet, and on the stoops, just oh yeah, it was just like I told this to Ginny, my illustrator. It's just like this, and I want I was already a father, and I was living in New York State, and we adopted her. But then one of my friends told me that she adopted a cat also and learned it was deaf soon after she adopted it. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to tell the story of her cat and add it to my cat and have it be told by a kid from Brooklyn who drops his G's and INGs. So it starts off like this. I saw Muffin before I named her Muffin. She was just a little gray fur ball, all wet and breathing hard. I picked her up and felt the tiny heart beating thump, thump, thump. I couldn't just put her back down in a corner of the porch steps. Hey, could you? I tried my best to be careful while I brought her inside. Oh, that must be the run to the litter from the stray cat across the street, my mom says. Yeah, but can I keep it, please, Ma? Oh, that might not be such a good idea, honey. Yeah, but you know how it's a hard job, right? Yeah, I don't mind, Ma. Please, pretty please. Hey, she must have seen I wasn't kidding. Uh, and I made sure I'm going to go forward and just say, go to one part. He says, then one day, Muffin is eaten with her back to me. Eaten with, and when I drop a heavy pot on our kitchen tiles floor, bam, clang. But Muffin, she doesn't turn around or jump up like a crazy cat. I knew right then something bad must have happened before I found her, because Muffin can't hear nothing. And it was so much fun to write. It was fun to read just now, Jen.
That's so great.
I love the voices you do, Bob.
Oh, 3 years of acting lessons in New York. And yeah.
Love it.
All right, let's go to the next one. So this is sloth.
Oh, yeah, a creation myth called How the Sloth Got Its Smile.
Just
it.
wanted to make it more fun. There, look at this sloth and how fun he is. And I just thought the cover should match how fun this sloth is. So we just repositioned them and put a title on that would pop.
Yeah, it sure does.
Love it.
Night and day. Yay.
And
Love it.
that's it.
Yeah.
So we're talking about also about the sunflower one too, right?
Yeah.
I really love that
Oh.
cover and that story, and I can't wait to see what you do with that one, because
Yeah, we're working on that one right now. That one is going to be so great. I have
Yeah.
so many great ideas for that. We're just waiting for one piece of artwork and then we're going to go.
My original illustrator, who is in Brazil, was on vacation, so I needed to get one JPEG for Tara, and I sent you one this morning. I think it's still not this good resolution.
I don't think I could open that one.
No, it's another one after you sent me that one. Oh, take a look at it.
Okay, I'll take a look.
We'll talk off camera.
Okay.
But it's the story of it's about Van Gogh and his painting the sunflowers, and which I've loved for many years. And what I thought was, what if there's one little sunflower that's green and crinkly? It looks like one of my sunflowers that I have here, but I care about it. It's small and off-putting, and it needed water. Anyway, Van Gogh picked all these beautiful large sunflowers for his painting, and the little sunflowers said, I expect that. I'm pretty small, but he picked, and he turns away from the sun, much like Van Gogh turned away from regular society. So, but Van Gogh did finally pick this little sunflower and eventually painted him. And this is the story, and the artist painted it in the style of Van Gogh. And it's beautifully done with thick brush strokes, and it was done in oils or acrylics, and it has a thickness to it and a texture. It's beautifully done.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I think she's going to create more magic with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to
be
fun.
For those of you that have questions for Bob or for Tara, whether it's on design or writing, and feel free to go ahead and post your questions here, and we'll try to answer them. Bob, what's new what are you working on now? Anything new coming?
I just got a keyboard, so I'm working on relearning the piano so that I can add music to the voice narration. And I just finished a song. This is not children's books, but I'm really happy with it. I play ukulele, so I just finished writing a song. It's really funny. It's called Fair Weather Fans, and it's about when I was a Met fan, and if the Mets were really losing by a large amount, they would leave in the seventh inning, and I never did that. And I called them Fair Weather Fans. So I wrote a song about them. Anyway,
that's fun.
I'm retired now, so I don't have to. I can just write. Mm-hmm. I'm also finished. I finished a play with a partner called 12th Night, a rap adaptation. I love Shakespeare, and so I wrote rap. I wrote like 45 minutes worth of raps to augment, to make 12th Night into sort of a rap musical. And we're hoping that schools all over the country pick it up and perform it.
Oh, so that sounds fun. That sounds really a lot of fun.
3 other books I'm working on. One is called, I think I told you this yesterday, Tara. I have a book called A Pucker of Lemons and other zany collective nouns, like like an SUV of soccer moms, and
Yes.
it's going to be really fun. And then I have a book called the Dragonfly, and the Wishing Stone, and that's being drawn by my Japanese art instructor. I'm learning how to do Japanese brush painting. I practice every day, and it's so much fun. And he's this master, and so he's done all the illustrations, and I like them so much. I came up with another book idea. I'm not going to mention that one. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I've got so many projects, so it's all good. I just
Keep
want to.
them coming, Bob. Let's keep doing these covers.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I told you I have at least 2 more for you.
Yes, I can't wait.
Denise says you're an inspiration to her as a new author. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've only been doing this since 2020 or 2021, 2020.
Nice.
And but the thing is, I had written it was plays. I've been a playwright for since 2006, and I used writing to teach my students. We would write raps. In fact, I taught history with rap. I wrote a book called History Kids. It was a TV show called History Kids a long time ago, when I was in advertising for a short time, and it was the history of the world in rap, all rap, all rhymed and syncopated, and
Oh my gosh, that would be a lot of fun.
and then
You must have been a fun teacher to have, Bob. That's for sure.
I was fun. I had fun teaching. I loved it. It was really rewarding. And in fact, now I volunteer in my local town. And I teach 6th grade. I
Nice.
taught them how to write children's books. I how to write and draw their own children's books. I did a three session course with them.
Nice.
So that
Well,
was fun.
Deb says that your imagination blows her mind. So, what kind of advice do you have for a new author who is looking for ideas? And it seems like things come to you and you just are a wealth of ideas and information. Any advice or anything that you can provide to others?
Yeah. Read not just children's books, read philosophy, read books that interest you on a deeper level, on a heart level. I get so many ideas when just from, I forget I was reading a philosophy book. Eastern philosophy? I don't remember. And what came out of it was the first attempt at a book, which was The Most Beautiful Snowflake. You didn't show this one.
I didn't show that one. I forgot. Let me see if I can find it.
The Most Beautiful Snowflake. This comes from a philosophy book or a series of lectures that's where the instructor or the teacher was talking about, when you really get down to it, we're all one. We're all like one being. We're like leaves on the same tree. And what I thought about was The Most Beautiful Snowflake. There was going to be a protagonist. Her name is Bella. And Bella thinks she's the most beautiful snowflake and in the air. But you see that polar bear cloud? That polar bear cloud. Oh, wait a second. What about all the others? Oh, no, I'm the most beautiful snowflake in the air. Look at me. All right. But wait, what's going to happen next? Be careful. And
I think it's up. Do you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yes, I see it, Tara.
And so the idea came from that notion of in essence, we're really all one. We're all on this planet Earth. We're all connected. We're all one, and we're all meant to be here. And I chose to use the snowflake, who in the air has her beautiful 6-pointed wings, but once she goes on the ground, she becomes part of a blanket of snow, and she doesn't know where she ends and Sarah, another snowflake, begins, and this other snowflake here, and she comes to realize she's part of this big whole. So going back, that's where the idea came from. This lecture or whatever it was, I can't recall, that in essence we're all one, and which is a basic tenet of a lot of Eastern philosophy.
I love that.
Read, and then when it touches your heart, make a note in your phone or somewhere and write one. Sometimes one line will do it. Uh, Here's one: Bert the Birch. This was I had. Oh, this was a combination of things. I read a lot of poetry. I was reading Robert Frost Birches, and around the same time, I was thinking about. It's another philosophy book about being willing to bend so you don't break. And I took those ideas, the idea of a birch and being willing to bend so you don't break, and I combined them into a story of this little scrawny birch tree on Avenue H in Brooklyn, where I used to play. And it grew up out of a crack under terrible conditions. And all the other trees, the elm, the sycamore, the oak, they were haughty and big, but they did not bend. And so when a hurricane came, they broke. And Bert the Birch bent. He bent and he bent. And that was the story is be willing to bend with the breeze. Don't fight it.
Yeah.
That's where that idea came from. My ideas are so in a news story. They don't come out of thin air. I really think that
Mhm.
if I'm struck by a song or by a story or a philosophical statement, I'm going to like very well might turn into a poem or a story. They just
Love it.
happen.
Yeah. I like the idea of just exploring all kinds of different mediums and reading and being open to allowing all of those things in various forms to influence your writing and
Yeah,
ideas. That's
yeah.
great.
You said the key words: being open. I've always had a lot of confidence, but that starts with being willing to be open,
Mhm.
your eyes and all your senses to ideas, and once you get something, just stay with it. Go with your heart. It's the worst that can happen is you don't sell too many books, but
And you know what? That's the one thing I could definitely say about your stories is they're all heart-centered and they're profound to me.
well,
That
you're
is
kind.
that is really why I love your writing so much.
Thank you. You just reminded me of a non-profound book. It's for older kids. It's for 10 to 12-year-old, 13. It's called Gross Grammar. And what I did was I rapped and syncopated lyrics of real grammar rules from when I was an English teacher, real rules of grammar that kids can use, but it's told with rhyme and rap and with some gross words like fart or pee. Not too bad, or barf, but gross grammar. And I think kids of a certain age who hate grammar, 10 and to 13, might really like it. And I made it, and I hired a rapper to do the lyrics, and he's great. He does all these different voices,
Oh,
and
that's fun. I got to
that'll
get that link so I can
that'll
post
come
it
out.
for
I don't have.
everybody.
Oh, I
Oh, it's
have the
not ready
audio.
yet?
I have the
Okay.
audio, but I don't have the book. So I want to give the audio away for people who buy the book, but I haven't. I have to consult Tara on that. It hasn't been. It hasn't been Tara. It hasn't been terrorized.
Love it. Oh, that's great.
That's
Awesome.
great.
So, Tara, did you want to share the snowflake cover?
I just
Uh,
did. Didn't you guys see it?
yeah, yeah. I just didn't get your commentary on it, so I thought you
Oh,
might
yeah.
want
Oh
Let me
yeah, I
go
didn't
back and
either.
share it.
Yeah,
Hold on one sec. Let me
here,
share it.
here's before.
Let
to.
me share. Hang on one sec.
Deb says that's helpful. I need to stop saying I have no talent or imagination. That is true, because the more you say things like that, the more you speak that into being. So we
Right.
need to be more open and realize that things are going to come to you the
Be
more
right
that
back.
you're open to it and the more that you believe in yourself.
So this cover, the first cover was the artwork again, just stunning. But that title treatment was not doing this cover justice. And I wanted to just wrap that
Yeah.
that title
I'll call you
around
back.
the polar bear, around the snowflake.
Oh,
And
then I won't
because
call
of
you
that,
back.
it just
Okay.
pops
Bye.
even
I can't
more.
talk. I'm on the air.
It pops even more. And I just think that it gives it just such a modern, fresh, new, just
I love
pop
it.
to it. And it just completely changes the whole thing.
Yeah, I do love it. So text choice, font choice is so important in the layout.
So true. And the
Yeah.
placement too, because Bob's original cover, it was just very small. It was right here in the center. It just wasn't fun for kids. And at the end of the day, parents obviously have to be drawn to it. They're the ones who are going to be purchasing, but you want it to be fun for kids too. And I think that this again matches the style of the artwork, but also gives it a modern flair.
Yeah. I'd love to give you an opportunity, Tara, to share if people want to get in touch with you and get some help with reimagining their covers. Do you want to share how best that they can reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can just send me an email. I'll put my email address in the chat, and you can just contact me anytime. I'm happy to help you redesign your covers or design a cover from scratch. We can jump on a quick Zoom call. I can just get a sense of what you're looking for, what kind of feelings you want your cover to evoke, and then just get a little background. And then I just jump in and I do what I feel works. And then we have that as like a jumping off point, and then we perfect from there.
Yes. Awesome. So it's Tara at Cavosie, Cavosie.com. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And
Just reach
Bob,
out anytime.
yeah, Bob, how about you? Do you want to talk a little bit about how people can find your books, and where can they, do you have a website that they could go to as well?
Oh, yeah. Please go to mrzstorytime.com, and you can actually download a free copy of the audio of the Mayfly and the Methuselah Tree on the site. You'll learn a little bit more about me, and you'll see all 14 of my books. Let's see. I was hoping I could go do a really brief demo on what I taught my sixth graders on how they could write their book. Would
Oh,
that be
I'd
helpful?
love that. We actually have 10 more minutes. I don't see any questions coming in from anyone. So yes, let's go ahead and do that. I would love that.
Everyone, I'm actually going to say goodbye. I just have another call at
Yeah.
9 o'clock. So it was amazing talking to you, Bob. So great seeing you, April.
Thank
Everyone in
you.
the group, take care. If I
All
can
right, take
help
care.
anyone, please reach out. But have a great night.
Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us, Tara.
Bye-bye.
Good seeing you. Thanks for all the great covers.
Yeah. So yeah, tell
I
us more about the writing that and how you were explaining that to the kids.
I'm going to get my whiteboard.
Okay.
Hang on. Just bam.
Okay. And while we're waiting for Bob to get back, you can feel free to post questions. Feel free. Always happy to have comments, but if you have any specific questions you want to post, we are happy. We're here to also help you answer your questions about self-publishing, writing. This is one of the benefits of being part of my YouTube channel or my Facebook community. Some people are watching live on my Learn to Self-Publish with April Cox Facebook group. Others are watching in from Self-Publishing Made Simple on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber, then please do give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you're alerted when we go live. And also if you are looking for a self-publishing community, of a supportive community where you can ask questions and share things, it is a private Facebook group called Learn to Self-Publish with April Cox, and it is completely free to participate. And you are more than welcome to join that group. I'll put some links into below the video. So I do invite you to be a part of that as well. All right. Whenever
Okay.
you're ready, Bob.
Here's what I use. I tell the kids the four magic. What are the four magic words every author has to use? And children's book authors are no different. They are somebody wanted, but so. If you at home go take a piece of paper and across the top write those four and then draw a line down like this. Do that. Somebody wanted, but so. I'm going to try to get a dry erase marker. This will be worth it. I can do this in 7 minutes.
Yeah, we get a lesson on writing, which is really cool. I think that Bob's ability to come up with all these awesome stories is just amazing. So it's nice we get a little glimpse into how you do this work, Bob.
I want you to know you don't have to. First of all, get rid of the idea that you're not creative. You get rid of that idea. If 6th grade kids can write wonderful stories, you can too. I'm going to give you an example. I finally found a marker that works. So I hope you have this down. Somebody wanted, but so. Sometimes there's another but so. I'm going to do the typical. I asked the kids, what story do you want to take apart? And I'll show you how it works. Every story works with somebody wanted, but so. Well, 90% of stories. I say, what's a good story? And they tell me, how about Cinderella? Cinderella. And then I'll say, what did she want? Oh, she wanted to go to the ball, go to the party that the prince was holding, right? Mm-hmm. Now, here's the key. There's a but, there's a conflict, there's an obstacle. What is it? Her stepmom says no. Stepmom, no, exclamation point. Mm-hmm. Somebody wanted, but in every story, there's a protagonist, there's a goal, there's an obstacle, and then there's a resolution or half a resolution. What happened? She became the fairy godmother, gave her all this magic. So magic happened, and she went to the ball as a beautiful and looked like a beautiful princess. But it's not over. What happened at 12 o'clock? She turned back to rags. Turned back to rags at midnight. Oh, what happened? Live ever. Talia. They all lived happily ever after when the prince found her size 4 glass slipper and put it right on there. Now, how about my story? Think about the Mayfly and the Methuselah tree. Somebody, the tree wanted What did he want? This is a little different. To be left alone, right?
Mhm.
But the mayfly flew into his life and showed him a new way. So the Methuselah tree was transformed and saw life differently. So that's the 4 steps. Transformed. Now it's your turn. I can do. There's so many. You take a movie or a novel. It's pretty much somebody wanted but, and usually
Mhm.
sometimes there's another but. With you listening, watching us now, think about that when you sit down, write your list, and brainstorm half a dozen protagonist, a goal, a obstacle, an obstacle, and a resolution,
Mhm.
or a half resolution and then another obstacle and a real resolution. If you can break it down to those 4 to 6 steps, you'll have the bones of a good story.
I
Then
love that.
then you flesh it out. Well, we're almost done on time. Yeah,
Yep.
it's five. It's a minute to the hour. So catch me on mrzstorytime.com and write me
Yes.
a note. Uh,
Yep.
and April, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for coming and sharing all of this knowledge and your beautiful stories with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.